Okay folks, welcome to the video, and first off I apologise for the amount of time it's taken me to put together this video. As many of you will know, I've not been very well, and that's one of the reasons why I'm standing down from the video editing. We'll get on with this video, but I'll explain during it. I just cannot manage to keep pace with the events that are going on. And so I'm handing over to a couple of other video editors. I've made some tutorials and hopefully there will be people that can take over from me. Anyway, let's get on with the show. And this is week 1, series 3 of the Love Team Time Trials with a 10-team shootout showing the 5, 10 and 15 kilometer time splits. Now we're going to get into the show. I've done the best I can to give you commentary on this. Now please understand, I'm not very well and it's not going to be as polished or as well drilled as normal. I'm really struggling at the moment. But anyway, we've got the first 4 teams up: the Australia Sharks, Australia Quokkas, OTR Blue and Team Viper. RGT Australia have put in by far the largest amount of teams into season 3, and you're going to see quite a bit of them throughout this season 3. Nice to see, actually. But who's going to take the honours amongst these 4? Now I've watched a few of these videos, but basically I'm watching them mostly for the first time along with you guys and gals, so I'm not always aware of the action. It's taken me an awful long time to do the video editing, and that's one of the reasons why I'm having to step down. Okay, so first in we get Team Viper with a 720, quickly followed by OTR Blue and Australia Quokkas with 723 and 731 for Australia Sharks. Now that's pretty close. That's a pretty close battle between the top 4 teams. Let's see if Viper can hang on to their lead when we go into the 10 kilometer split. So who have we got up next? Here we go. We got Australia Wombats, we got West London VR, Australia Dingoes and 3R Mushroom. And one of the other things I will mention, folks, is that these videos are not all my recordings. For example, the West London VR, you can see that's their own footage. 3R Mushroom, it's their footage. I think Andy Widdis did that one. So Australia Wombats, that's their footage. So I've been sent in these videos, I edit them, put my template on, or the OTR template, and we go from there. So we try to do the best we can. $7.36 for Dingoes and Mushroom, $7.39 for West London. So this is a pretty close affair, and $7.46 for Wombats. So again, pretty close times at the 5 kilometer split. 2 more teams to go. And we've got the only ladies team at the moment, Australia Koalas. What a lovely name for a ladies team. The Koalas and OTR Wicked, which is a new team to season 3 that we're seeing for the first time. Sadly, excuse me, both teams have only got 3 riders, so they're at a bit of a disadvantage before we even get off the line. But it's nice to see new teams taking part in the series. While we're on, a huge thank you to Velo Tours Spain for sponsoring the whole series. You'll see a couple of adverts during the promotion here, including this promotional video from Velo Tours Spain. what I want you to do is a bit later on stop the video and then play through the video of the Velo Tours. It is quite interesting. I don't want you to do that now while you're watching the action, but certainly come back to it and have a look through the video. But again, a big shout out to Velo Tours for sponsoring us during this series. So 9:07 for Koalas and 8:25 for OTR Wicked coming in. So, you know, 3 riders each team. They're obviously going to be bringing up the rear, but it's nice to see the new teams taking part, and they can only grow from that. Okay, straight into the 10-kilometer split. Again, we've got 10 teams running off: Sharks, Quackers, Team Viper and OTR Blue. Now, the canny among you will have noticed that the layout has changed slightly, which probably means we've got a change in the running order. So let's see what happens. Team Viper took the opening salvo at the 5-kilometer mark, but have they been overhauled? Looking at the figures on screen, it looks like OTR Blue have in fact surpassed them and are in front at the moment. There's only about 200 meters in it that I can see. So can OTR Blue hang on to their small lead at the 10-kilometer mark, or are Team Viper going to pull it back? Quackers, they're coming up as well. They were neck and neck with OTR Blue, so they've lost a bit of ground too. We got OTR Blue coming in 14:56. 2 seconds later we got Team Viper, so they've managed to stay close. And then a further 10 seconds back we've got Quackers. So a bit of a swap around there at the 10-kilometer mark. We don't often see such big turnarounds, but yeah. And then 15:23 for the Sharks. On to the final, the second 4 pair, and we've got the Wombats again, West London VR, the Dingoes and Mushroom. Now the Wombats, I will say, their footage crashed out after the 10-kilometer split, so we've only got them up until this point, and you can see from the footage it's not the greatest footage, no disrespect to the recorder, but we can only see the 2 riders on the screen. I assume there are 3 in the running here. West London VR, they always manage to put in a good performance. The Dingoes, they're another new team, but again putting in 4 riders, nice to see. And then Mushroom, well, they've got a full complement of 6 riders, which again, I like to see it when the teams can put together. And in fact, Mushroom come in first at 15:27 with the 6 riders, followed closely by Dingoes 3 seconds later, and then West London VR a further 9 seconds later, and then a further 6 seconds behind Australia Wombats, bringing up the foursome. So some good times there, not too much in it at the 10-kilometer mark. So plenty of time for this to change around, and in fact it does do so, so keep an eye on the 15-kilometer split. Okay, the last 2 teams, OTR Wicked and Koalas, again we've swapped them around. And incidentally, as you can see from the screenshot, if you want to sponsor the series, you've got your videos or your logos on screen during the videos that we're making, get in touch with James Ogilvie. You can find him on the Facebook page, and he'll get you sorted out and will ensure that you get promotion during the videos, the same as you can see Velo Tours are having here. So some nice promotion for the sponsors. So Koalas came in at 18:39 and Wicked 17:27. And still running 3 riders each, which is the minimum amount you need to finish with. So you can't afford to drop a rider if you've only got 3 going off the line. But again, it's nice to see new teams taking part, even if they are struggling. And I know OTR Wicked are struggling in week 2 to get a full team together. So as I said, Wombats dropped out, so now we have 9 teams. So what I've done is I've done 3, 3 and 3, I believe, during this footage. So we got the Quackers, Team Viper and OTR Blue. The Sharks sadly dropped away slightly, which is why I put these 3 teams together. Now, again, you can see the setup on screen has changed around slightly, so I'm not sure. I think looking at the figures here, we've got OTR Blue out in front, followed closely by Team Viper, but there's not much in it between all 3 teams. Only a few hundred meters, so expect these times to be pretty close. I know Quackers came really strong at the end. This is the 15-kilometer mark, so let's see how much they can pull back in this last section. 22:30 for OTR Blue. I think Viper come in next. Now they have fallen behind slightly of Viper, 22:40, so 10 seconds the gap has gone out to, and a further 6 seconds back to the Quackers. So that's pretty close. That can be closed up towards the finishing run-in. We've seen that happen before. And then the final 3 teams, as I say, I dropped back the Sharks to join Dingoes and Mushroom here. Not the final 3, sorry, the second 3. So Dingoes, Mushroom and Australia Sharks all running together. Now I think the Sharks were losing ground here and were being caught very, very quickly by a very strong 3R Mushroom. I'm not sure which of the 2 came in first, and in fact all 3 of these teams were fairly closely matched. There's not much between Mushroom and Sharks though, so I think we're only going to see a couple of seconds difference here at the 15-kilometer mark. And to be honest, I can't remember who comes in first, but I know it's going to be a very close battle. Again, I can't understand Mushroom choosing the course they did, but hey, 2 seconds. So Sharks did just edge out Mushroom by 2 seconds, and then the Dingoes, they came in a further 10 seconds behind. So pretty close timings there. And then we're going to have the final 3 teams going off. Here we go. Sorry, the final 2 teams going off. Koalas and Wicked. I'm not sure what happened. Did we not have had 9 teams at the 15? Or did we just have the 8 teams? Oh yeah, the one got dropped out. But not sure what happened here, folks. It looks like I didn't have the footage for 2 of the teams at the 15-kilometer mark. Now I'm going to try and add a little bit of music to the video, this being my final one, so we'll see how that works out. During the quiet periods, maybe you'll get a bit of music in the background, but it's something which I haven't really had time to work on, so it will be again just a bit of an experiment. Anyway, we've got 28:56 for OTR Wicked coming in, and the Koalas, they came in 29:29, so you know, bringing up the rear. But again, the only women, full women's team we've got at the moment in the competition. As we move into the finish, Now what I've done here is I've ran the teams individually for the last 2 minutes of their runs each. So each team gets 2 minutes exposure coming into the finish, and we get a chance to have a look at the riders individually. And here we've got Wendy Wonder Wheels, Stolten and Williams. Again, normally I would have the time to sort of look in the spreadsheet and discover all the names of the riders, but I just haven't been up to doing that. And again, for those that are coming in late to the video, I am stepping down from doing the recording and editing, but I will still be involved in some of the other competitions and helping James out. Maybe with the Tour de Monde coming up a bit later, the Tour de Alps, I will do a bit of recording, maybe a little bit of commentary, but I really have to step away from the work that is the OTR Love Team Time Trial series, because it's far too much work given my current health situation. I just can't do it and keep up with it. But it's lovely to see these teams, these new teams joining the competition, and I hope as we go further into the series, I know there's a couple of weeks grace where teams can join in late on, so let's hope we get a few more as well. I do know OTR Wicked, who are going to be up next, are struggling to put together team members, so anybody that fancies a chance at this, get in touch and I'm sure we can find you a team to ride with as we watch the koalas coming over in 32.27. So good run, ladies, well done for the first time out. I mean, we have seen quite a bit of Wendy helping out in other teams, but I think this is the first time we've seen her in the all ladies team. So this is the three-man team of OTR Wicked: Lawrence, Armitage and Blackmore. And again, I had a great disadvantage having to ride with just the 3 riders, because they're losing out on the drafting and the recovery, which is what team time trialing is all about. Those of you that want more information about that, just go and watch some of my earlier videos where I explain the importance of the drafting and why you should try and put together as large a team as you can when doing these events. Certainly the teams that put together the larger complements are the teams that do the best in the competition. But hopefully OTR Wicked will be able to recruit a few more riders, and certainly I'm hoping to see them in week 2. Now I won't be recording, but I will be hopefully able to follow the action a little bit when maybe we'll get a highlights video from Andy when he feels confident enough to be putting these together. I've sent him some tutorial videos to help him along, and I will always be here to help anybody else that wants to give it a shot. So hopefully we'll see somebody take up the reins and produce highlights videos like I did. But it's a lot of work, folks. Don't underestimate how much effort goes into making these videos. Hours and hours of work, which is one of the reasons why Damon stepped away as well. Okay, so OTR Wicked, they're going to, I think, just get under the 30 minutes. Yep, they got 29.57. Now, ignore what it says on the screen when it gives you the finish time. The finish time is on the 3rd rider, which is why you get 29.57 and not 29.55, which was the first figure you saw on screen. West London Cycling, now obviously a good deal faster. They've got a bigger team out. How many riders have we still got running here? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 running into the finish, with 2 riders dropped out of this group. So they've got all 6 riders still on course, but 2 of them have dropped back. Now normally I cover the videos and I'm able to sort of like show drop riders and this lot, but as I say, we just haven't been able to do that in this last few weeks. I do love watching these videos though when I can, and because I have the full videos, maybe I'll go back and when I've got nothing better to do, spend a bit of time just watching the runs, and maybe brushing up on some of the riders as well for when I do finally come back, which I will do, folks. I will come back into the action at some point. I just need to concentrate and get myself fit again. Sadly, I'm not doing any indoor cycling myself, certainly not strong enough. I am doing outdoor riding, but I'll give you an example of how much fitness I've lost and how I'm struggling. Back in 2016, when I was going well, my average sort of speed for doing a training ride, and not particularly fast training ride, but just for doing my average training rides, was 32 kilometers an hour. I'm struggling to manage 20 kilometers an hour. So I've lost 12 kilometers an hour speed, and I can't get it back at the moment. So I'm just concentrating as we watch West London come over in 26:52. Yeah, I'm really struggling even riding outdoors at the moment. It will come back the more I'm doing it. There's no problem doing distance. I've actually, I can ride 100 kilometers, but only at 20 kilometers an hour or less. And I'm going to be doing a follow-up video to this on further explaining why I've had to step away, what's happening with my health, and what I'm doing to try and get back to fitness. I'm basically going to return to riding outdoors as that's what's got me through previous episodes of being very unwell. Getting outdoors into the fresh air has really turned around my health, and I'm going to try that again. But it's going to be a hard battle when you lose so much fitness and you've got to try and come back. Now it's nice to see, I don't know what happened to the caption for this team. I can't even remember. Is this the Dingoes? This might be the Dingoes. I'm not 100% sure, but I think this is the Dingoes, RGT Australia Dingoes on screen. I'm sorry that the name's missing, folks. That just goes to show how I've been struggling with the footage and putting the videos together, because normally I wouldn't miss something like this, but I really have. It's taken me 2 weeks to put together this highlights video, so you're going to see this at the end of week 2. Actually, you're going to be seeing the highlights for week 1, for which I apologize, but at least I'm explaining why I'm stepping away, and maybe you get a good feeling for me having to do so, and you'll appreciate what I've managed to accomplish. Okay, so 26:35, again ignore the time given on screen, that's on the first rider. So 26:35 for, I'm pretty sure, Australia Dingoes. Oh, and we've got the we do know that this is Team Mushroom. So this is 3R Mushroom, Andy Widders, is it Mikael Rasmussen, Luke Jeffries, Jonathan Stone, I think it's Frederick Foulon. Apologies about the names, I really should do better, but as I say, just haven't had the time to get into the spreadsheets and do my normal research that I do. But this is my ex-team. Before I joined OTR, I helped set them up here over on RGT. So I have a great affinity, and I spent a lot of years riding for Team 3R. And I have a lot of good friends in this team. And Andy, who's leading out the team at the moment, that you can see on screen, Andy is the guy that's volunteered to try and take on some of the workload from me. He's going to try and do some of the video editing. As I say, I've made tutorials to help him. But if anybody else wants to have a go, get in touch with me, James or Andy, and we've got lots of resources to help, including the templates for recordings. I can help you with OBS, help you get set up. OBS is open broadcasting software, it's completely free. DaVinci Resolve, which I use for editing, is completely free. A bit of a gap here of them going over the line, 26:21. And the reason why you see the 3-second gap is because the riders weren't together at the end. So you can see. And really you ought to be trying to stay together at the end of a run. Okay, so here we have got the name up on the screen, Australia Sharks. Down to 3 riders. They managed to drop 2 of their riders earlier on in the event. So 3 riders coming into the finish. Pedersen, Marco and Francis. As I say, I really hope that we get a few more teams getting involved in this series, as well as additional riders helping out the teams, just to bolster the squads, because as you saw with Koalas and OTR Wicked only being able to run 3 riders from the start, that's incredibly difficult. To try and be competitive against the other teams that are able to put out 5 or 6 riders, it's really difficult. So if you do fancy giving this a go, I mean, it's a lot of fun, and there's categories for everybody. You know, you don't have to be the fastest rider. Beginners are more than welcome, as are the more experienced riders. So give it a go if you fancy. Get in touch with James and I'm sure he'll sort you out. There's 250 metres to go for the Sharks. Looking good coming into the finish together. And this is how it should be. You should be on each other's wheel. You should be drafting all the way up to the line. No gaps. Draft all the way up to the line and cross the line together as a threesome. And then there's no time gaps given, you see. There you go. 26-12. Perfect finish from the Sharks. That's how it should be done. 3 riders going over the line. And Team Viper. Now, I'm a little bit sad to see Team Viper what can I say, drop back the way they did in this event, and I don't know really what happened. I do know from watching the footage earlier that I think they lost Christopher O'Hearn, I believe, had a problem, had an issue. Certainly he was dropped earlier on in the footage, managed to get back on, but it appears he's not here now. So I can only assume that Christopher was having technical issues, and maybe the team, I'll need to watch the full footage to find out, but maybe the team slowed down to try and help him get back on, and that has cost them the placings, because they were higher up in the running order, and they're such a strong team. I tend to think that maybe it has something to do with probably easing up slightly to try and get riders back on. I mean, Proctor's dropped, as you can see, but Chris O'Hearn was also part of this group, and he's no longer here, so I don't know exactly what happened here, but I will certainly go back and watch this footage and find out. So yeah, further down the field than I would have expected Team Viper. They were certainly in front of Quackers earlier on. Don't forget they were the first team at 5 kilometres, so they were in first place at the 5 kilometre mark. And to fall back, I think, are we in 4th or 5th at the moment? Yeah, that's a little bit, for me it's disappointing, because this is a team I love to watch racing. They should be staying together towards the end here though. Come on, close up. Yeah, they are doing. Well done. And getting over the line together in 26:08. I don't think there's very much, in fact I think that time is matched by the next team. So I think the two teams come in with 26:08. So maybe I'm doing them a bit of a disservice, because Quackers, yeah, I'm almost sure that Quackers also come in 26:08. And they're down to 3 riders, so they do pretty well. They dropped Campbell, and Baxter was dropped fairly early on, but they dropped Campbell a couple of kilometres back. So he's 400 metres behind. He's trying to close, as you can see on screen. He's actually pulling back some of the distance, but he never gets back on with them. You know, 1 kilometre to go to try and close up almost 400 metres. It's not going to happen. Doesn't matter how strong you are. But he does make a good fist of it. He does manage to pull back a few metres. But these 3 just press on, which is what you should do. You can't, at this point, you know, 1 kilometre to go, 1.5 kilometres to go, you can't afford to ease up for a rider that's being dropped. If there's 3 of you. If there's only 2, then obviously you have to. But if there's 3 of you, you push on to the finish as hard as you can. You can see the red numbers coming up, so this team are working hard to get to the line. And this is a really good effort from Quackers. And hopefully they're going to be another one of the RGT stalwarts of the series. You know, by stalwart I mean regulars. We're going to see them regularly taking part and regularly putting out 5 or 6 riders. Because that's what we want to see with the teams. We want to see the best of the best. And Australia, I think they're putting about 6 teams forward at the moment, which is fantastic. The only sad thing is they all tend to go off at similar times, so covering them is very, very difficult. But yeah. Now let's see, 26:08 for Viper. I think they got the same time. Yeah, look, 5, 6, 7... 26:08, so the same time as Team Viper for the Quackers. So I think, is that joint, that might be joint 3rd place. Or is it joint 2nd even? Joint 2nd place, because OTR Blue, now they are definitely the winners this week. So yeah, joint 2nd place for Viper and Quackers. So I was doing Viper a disservice. They did pull it back. Well done. Well, very well done. But well done to Quackers too for staying with Viper. Okay, but OTR Blue really pulled it out. I mean, I did watch the majority of the footage from OTR Blue because they are my team, and I did have the time to do so. They were one of the first teams to post their video. They did drop one of their riders, Ogilvy, James, the captain, but these 3 pressed on to the finish very, very strongly. And I've noticed with OTR they tend to do that. They tend to have riders that give absolutely everything, as James did, you know, and totally blows himself up. And then the riders that are left take it to the finish. You can see that Peter Austin here is struggling to get on the wheels. They're not slowing up for him either, so he's struggling to get on the wheel. He will do so. He'll get on the wheel before they get to the line. But yeah, that shows how hard they're pushing towards the finish. Here we go. Look at the red numbers coming in here. And OTR Blue are a team that have gone on from strength to strength. Excuse me. Every week seem to be getting stronger, which again is good to see. Worthy winners this week. They took it by a fair old margin in the end, you know, considering they didn't take the 5 kilometre split. This is a good run by them. 26.50. So well over a minute advantage over second and third Team Viper and Quackers. Well done OTR Blue. A superb run. And basically folks, that's about it for me. Thanks to everybody for supporting me. Thanks for watching. Please hit the like and subscribe button. I haven't finished with the channel, so I will be coming back, but please hit the like and subscribe and help me grow the channel. As I say, I will be covering other events with OTR, and we'll see you when we see you next time. Take care everybody, stay safe and enjoy the off season. Bye for now.